All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to my complimentary live trading session this morning. You guys are in for a real treat because of something that has been, as I just mentioned previously, in the works for quite a while now, which is what I've wanted to do, honestly, is build out my own software and database, really a comprehensive dashboard that helps choose trade opportunities for you based upon what you look at day to day, right? Everyone is different. What time frames you look at are different. What products you look at are different. So what I've done here is I've used my signature strategy and how I find trades, and I've used it to have the computer really be able to understand and assess what trades are top opportunities based on what you look at specifically day in and day out. And there's going to be stats to share and show you that these trades work time and time again from what you'll see as we go through this. So what I'm going to be rolling out over the next week is this intelligence dashboard. Now, when you log in, you'll have access to this complete platform here where you've got some tabs on the left-hand side, you've got some tabs on the top to kind of walk you through. Think of it as your home portal or your home terminal that tells you what trade opportunities there are, and it's going to tell you where the best ones are. Okay, so you're not going to be scanning or searching for trades, and it's going to be picking out ones that are not good. The purpose of this dashboard is to tell you which ones are the strongest setups so you have a game plan and you know with more confidence which ones you want to look at for the day. So the benefit of this is it's picking the top trades for you based upon what you like to look at. Now, each dashboard is customizable, so it'll have your name here. And what it will ask you to do is select the time frames you look at and the products that you typically look at. And for this class today, I'm just going to use all futures contracts, so it brings up kind of a good database, but you can customize and choose which trading universe you want. You can create your own watch list, things like that. And you do that from this drop down over here, selecting what products, assets. If you want to look at stocks, you can select that all from this drop down. Now, what this does differently than other softwares that I've found is it lets it customize based upon what you look at. So again, some of us are swing traders, some of us are day traders. What this does is allows you to pick the time frames that you look at and that you trade, and it'll pull up the top picks for the day based upon the time frames that you choose. So someone in the chat tell me, are you guys more swing trading, high time frames, or more day trading, low time frames, or a little bit of a mix? If you had to describe yourself, would you say 100% day trader, low time frames? Would you say 100% swing trader, high time frames, or a mix? A good mix of mix or day. Let's see, day, mix, day, both day, mix, swing, mix. So what I'll do for today, and what I like is that enough of us said mix. I think this would be a good kind of compromise, is let's see what a mix would look like. So instead of doing, let me remove all these. What I'm going to do is pick 1 to 10 time frames, and it's going to allow me to choose all of those charts, and we're going to start to analyze them. Let me see, day on futures, swing on, that makes sense. I like that. Day on futures, swing on stocks. Day trader on days off, swing on work days. Very nice. It's a good strategy, Patrick. I like that. Day. Let's do this. Let's combine them. Let's say we do a little bit of both. And you can always customize this, right? If you want to say you're complete day trader, you would just select 15, 10, 5, 3, 1 like that. If you're swing trading, I would do these 5 monthly, weekly, daily, 12, 8. What we can do for today is let's make it a mix. I'm going to lean more towards day to mix just because we are in the live markets and we want to see some setups. So let's do 1 minute. Let's do 1 minute, 10 minute, 30. Actually, instead of one, let's do five. Let's do 5, 10, 30, 1 hour, and 4 hour, right? So I'm getting a mixed kind of bag of low time frames, but I'm also bringing in a little bit higher time frame so that I can see what trend is maybe on a higher time frame. Once you select your times, you're going to hit apply, and it's going to scan your universe or database of products, and it's going to tell you what products are the strongest setups. So I've chosen my time frames. Again, in this case, I'm looking at all futures. As we come down, it's going to give you an idea of the markets today. So market story, bullish, all futures or whatever trading universe or list that you're on is going to give you an analysis of that. So this is just pulling up all the futures products. Futures are leaning long today. 7 of the top 10 setups favor upside. And then what it does when you drop down the menu, it's going to give you specific products to look at. For example, top focus, Japanese yen long, has a 55 out of 100 conviction score. Now, I know 55 out of 100 may not seem like a great score, especially if we're shooting for 100 out of 100, but when I say 55 is a good score, we want to choose really setups, I would say, that are in the 40s to 50s, because then it's actually combining multiple different codings, odds enhancers. I would say the goal is to at least get a 50. Anything higher is going to be pretty good for a 50. I know 55 doesn't seem that good, but it actually is a good score in this case. So Japanese yen, 55 out of 100. I would say if it's above a 40, 45, that's going to be pretty good. Let me see what else. Strongest area is the currencies. So it gives you an idea of what's going on. So Japanese yen is in focus. Strongest area is currencies led by the Japanese yen. Weakest area is metals. So you can see the score here is a 27. That's going to be less probable, less conviction. 4 setups sitting in sweet spot, waiting for confirmation. This is your big picture overview. And what this would tell me is today, let's focus on the currencies. And this is again based upon my time frames that I selected. If I had selected different time frames, it's going to give me a different analysis. And let me kind of share that. So what if I brought in a weekly, an 8 hour, and a 6 hour? See how now it updated. Now it's saying, well, British pound is the one that we want to look at. And currencies are still strong as far as the markets. But now if I'm more of a higher time frame trader, and my time frames, I'm bringing in weekly, 8 hour, it's going to start to shift. So let me go back to the lower time frames. I'm going to bring back in the 10-minute. We'll keep the 8 hour and we'll do a 4, 8, 4. Actually, yeah, that's good. Let's do that. Okay. See, now it's bringing up core. And see, each time you update it, it's going to rescan everything. Let me do 5. I'm going to get rid of the 8 hour for now, just because that's a little bit higher time frame. Market strength. If you bring this drop down here, it's going to start to help you visualize what's been going on with different asset classes, which ones are the strongest. So the longer the bar, the stronger the sector is. So you can see right now currencies is one where it's the longest right now. I go back to classic view. You can see this one is the leader as far as strength is concerned, and it's saying Japanese yen is one that we should take a look at. The next section is trade of the day. It's going to give you, based upon, again, your charts and your time frames, the top setups based upon what we look at day to day, which is the sweet spot. The sweet spot is isolated from the 2 arrows, and it gives us a range of where we want to look for a long trade. So in kind of general pictures is when you see your green box, you want to look to buy when price returns to it. If you see a pink box, you want to look to sell, and then it gives you the score. So overview, you can see Japanese yen. If you click on the score, it gives you a breakdown as far as why it's getting that score and why this is a top trade, right? So a 55 is a good score, as I mentioned, a little bit range bound, but it's bringing in multiple time frames. It's showing that there's a setup aligned on the 4 hour, 30, and 5 minutes. identified a sweet spot. There's momentum to the upside, things like that. So gives you a nice breakdown. And then you can see, okay, here's where I'm looking to take the trade. I can enlarge this and we can set up this trade right now. So let's see, Japanese yen, we've got that sweet spot. It'll isolate the zones for you. And then ultimately we can come over to our charts and set this one up. So Japanese yen, this is on a, let's see, the time frame that it pulled up is a 4 hour. What's also cool about this is it's going to highlight the time frames that have setups. So if we're looking to go long on Japanese yen, which is a long bias, I want to see that there's multiple time frames that are aligned. So tap a time frame to load a chart. This one has 1, 2, 3 time frames that are aligned, meaning I can see we've got a setup on a 30-minute. We've got a setup that just formed on a 5-minute, and we have a 4 hour setup. So the more of these that you see that are lit up, the more it's going to tell you that that's going to be a strong zone because there's multiple time frames aligned in this case. So 3 to 5 time frames show a long setup led by a 4 hour continuation doji, which looks like maybe this one or it could be this one here. So our goal is to go long. We've got some reasons to go long. If you want more details on kind of your entry, stop, and target, if you hover over this eye or click it, it gives you a breakdown of your entry, your stop, target, things like that. And it gives you some extra details here to take into consideration. Thanks to, let me read the comments real quick. Hey, Greg, cross-reference timelines? Yes. And this is a big one, right? Is that I was running into the issue with where some students were saying, okay, I've got a setup and it looks good on this one time frame, but how does that correlate to the higher time frames? How does it correlate to the lower time frames? So now it does all of that for you. Yeah, Dan says that's great. It shows a high time frame zone set up with a low time frame confirmation in the zone. You bet. Great way to put it, right? If you have a high time frame setup and you have confirmation on a 5-minute chart, that's an odds enhancer to take the trade. You bet. So Ken, let's see, the risk should be here. Let me see, maybe it doesn't have the dollar amount, but that should be something that can be added. Let's see, so it has entry, stop, target. What I'll do is map this one out on, let's see, so there's our 4 hour. Here's our 30-minute, which we can see prices already come into it and started leaving. I'll set this one up though in that zone. Let me see, 6J, 30-minute. And that's actually a good suggestion is to add the dollar amount. I'll have that added. Thanks, Ken, for that. In the meanwhile, what you can do is let me clear this off. So based upon what it's showing on the 30-minute, we've got a sweet spot here. All right, so what I'll do is I'm gonna look for price to come a little bit deeper into that zone. Let me see, let me see if I can turn that into a 2-candle flip. And this is where you can work with the time frames a little bit, make it a zone that you like. Here's an activated doji, that looks good. Let's see. It's a 2 hour. Let me see, 1 hour. I'm gonna do that wick over wick reversal there, that zone. I'll set this one up. And in order to find the risk for right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over to our calculator, but I will get that added where it can calculate the dollar amount because that's great feedback. Thank you, Ken. For now, if you go to the website and you hover over trade tools, you'll see futures calculator and you can input it here for the meanwhile, but this will be updated soon. Japanese yen entry 0.0062035, stop 0.0061995. And then we come down here and we can see the risk is $50. So that is on the website as well. If you hover under the trade tools and you go to futures calculator, you'll see it there, and it gives you pretty much all the different futures contracts. So I'm going to set up that trade for today. Buy custom with stop, buy limit 0.0062035, stop price 0.0061995, and send that out there. $50 zone, and we'll see how this one works out. Again, I'm just kind of going through all the features briefly so you can get an idea of what you get when you get the dashboard. So again, multiple time frames aligned. The more you have, the better. If you click view details, that's also another way to bring up some more information. If it has the green dot next to the time frame, then that means that there's a setup on that time frame. Come down, you can see entry, stop, target, and it gives you a reason of why it's being ranked, in this case, number one. So a little bit range bound, which we could see, but it does have multi-time frame confluence. There's a sweet spot. We took out a strong control and breakout pivot. It gives you a nice read down here. So to see that, you can click the view details to open that chart. Clicking the eye will bring in some more detailed trade management information, and all that right there. What you can also do is, you can see where it says show. If you want only setups, say, that have like at least 2 time frames that have confluence, or at least 3, you can then start to filter this based upon, like, I want to see 3 time frames aligned, and now it's only showing this one chart because some of the other setups may not have 3 or more time frames aligned. Or if you want to do 2, I would say at minimum we want to look for at least 2 time frames aligned. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Let's see, can we personalize the time frames, or are they standard? You can personalize them up to these ones here. If you have other time frames you'd like to look at, let me know. But what you could do is you can select 1 to 10 at a time. I tried to do the main ones, like 1, 3, 5. What I will also do, in addition to adding that risk dollar amount, is I'll see if I can add in a lot more time frames here. I should be able to. And if you do see time frames that are missing that you want added, just let me know and I can add them more here. But try to give you kind of a good mix of low time frames, intermediate, and high. But yeah, so you would customize it there under my time frames. What I also like is the learner's guide. When you do get this, it'll go over everything. And we won't do this today, but it breaks down kind of what each section is, what each page is, what it means, why it matters, how to use it, right? The confidence score. And so even this breaks down, the score, what is that and why it matters, right? Higher score means more time frames are aligned. Prime is 58 or more. Developing is 45 to 40 to 57, and watch is below 45. So the goal is really to shoot for above 45. If you get in the 50s or 60s, 70s, it's just going to be that much better. And then you can go through and kind of learn about all of this. Let's see what else. So that one we've got set based upon the score. You can see there's trade of the day number 2. We've got a short setup on Canadian dollar. This one has 2 time frames matched at the 4-hour. You can see sweet spot there. 30-minute also has a sweet spot. So we've got 2 time frames aligned. Let's see. So this one we could come and set up as well. Canadian dollar, 6C, 30-minute. Looks like we had a gap down. Let me see where we're at. So it shows by breaking that low, we've activated a new sweet spot. We can look for a zone in that area. So again, I can choose to isolate the zone on the 4-hour. I can use the 30-minute. What I like is this 4-hour here. is I see this sweet spot activated and there's this double-sided breakout here. We've got this doji, broke above, broke below. So I'm actually going to use that zone. That one looks pretty good on the 4 hour. And let's do that 4 hour. The gap's kind of throwing it off a little bit. Let me actually come back down to what was the lower time frame. 30-minute. I'm going to use that 30-minute pivot and we'll set this one up as well. So 30-minute time frame, zooming in. Yes, that all should be there. Shellyan said, did it have a potential target, take profit? Yes, so that is going to be entry, stop, target. So this one, notice it's choosing a target of 0.7 to 1 versus Japanese yen is choosing a 1 to 1. If you click on the eye, it's going to give you some details on the target and profit. So it's showing, hey, we're looking to target just a 1 to 1 on this. And it's going to go into reasons why. So next structural objective, prior pivot low, enters price taps the sweet spot, risk to the stop beyond invalidation. Consider taking partials at target 1. Move your stop to break even once target 1 is reached. So if it's giving you a lesser target, what it could be is that it's seeing this as potentially running into a zone that's pretty close by. It could be choppier market conditions. It's also correlated to the score a bit, right? So this score is a 44. It's a little bit lower and it's missing a couple things on the breakdown versus this one being a score of 55. Typically, the higher the score is, the higher you'll be able to take these trades. Yeah, so that's a great question. We'll see that as we start to come down. Let's see. So coming back over to Canadian dollar, we broke this pivot here, and we're in that zone now. What I'll do for this one, since I think this one we've got the big gap down, I got to see what contract we're on. Let me see, enlarge. Yeah, mine looks a bit different, so I do want to check this with against trading view, but it's showing this move down. We've got the sweet spot. What you can also do is bring in your own analysis as well of, okay, did this move down, take out a zone to the left? Are there other factors here that are strengthening this setup? And again, coming back over here, mine just looks a little bit different. Let me see. Thank you, Dan. I need to get that added on here. There we go. 4 hour. Yeah, another good question. Ken's question is, your platform appears to be on TradingView. Do we need a TradingView account? If yes, what level? Nope. So you don't need a TradingView account. All of it is built into the software. So you don't need to create any other accounts. It's all built in. Yeah, and all that's kind of accounted for on the back end. So this dashboard pulls in that data, so you don't need like a secondary account or anything like that. As long as you are subscribed to this, it gives you all that access for you. Yeah, great question. All right, so we're moving down there. Let me see these. Let me see the sweet spot. I just want to make sure 30-minute. Go back to the 4 hour one. So the sweet spot that it's isolating is from this pivot low to the high. That is going to be, here we go. Thank you, Dan, for that from here to here. So here's the area of where I'm looking for my zone to go short. It's done the analysis based upon the strong pivot points. So as we're rallying higher, I would like to target something here, right? We've got a 2 candle flip, strong move down. I can see we've got even a break of support here. So I would want to shoot for a zone up in this area. Well, you could use that 2 candle flip. That's fine. Or you can come up in time frame and adjust it to where you're getting a zone that you like. I'm coming up to an 8 hour. So Paul's question, does it work on TradeStation? So it's not linking to like your platform. it's just through the website. So when you log in to katetrades.com, if you've registered for any products up till now, all those products will be here. You'll just simply log into your account, click on Trading Dashboard, and then it's going to bring up this page. So really, you don't need TradeStation, you don't need TradingView, you don't need Thinkorswim, you don't need really any account because it's going to bring in all that data for you. And this is kind of your foundational tool where you can do all your analysis here, and then take it to whatever platform you have. Yeah, great question. So on this one, it shows that double-sided breakout. For me, I'm going to use this 8-hour double-sided breakout here, like that. Could come up to the high here to use that full move, which I might do, noticing that this is a weak breakout. If we have a weak breakdown, where does price typically come back to? If we have a weak breakdown, price typically returns where? Thank you, Deb, to the origin. So if this is a weak breakdown, I would anticipate price to come back to the origin. Nice job, Shellyan. So I'm going to choose this 2 candle flip, green and red, activated there. That's going to be my zone. And then I'm going to, again, move on with our charts. But you can see how quickly you can find trades. And this is all just based upon the time frames that I'm looking at, that I input into the system. But say tomorrow you want to look for more swing trades, you can put into your dashboard monthly, weekly, all that good stuff. Sell custom with stop entry 0.70695, stop price 0.70905. Send that out there. Good to go, right? Once you're done with that, come back out to your dashboard. And those are the top 2 trades for the day. You have the ability to refresh the page as needed by hitting refresh rankings. It's going to update everything. So if I click refresh, notice that the market story was last updated at 9 a.m. Eastern. If I hit refresh, if there is some new news or market changes, it's going to rescan everything so that you get the most up-to-date information, right? So now a couple things may have changed. Japanese yen is still there, Canadian dollar is there, so those are still the same, but it does show you the most up-to-date information. And some of these boxes will show updated just now, so you know you're getting the most up-to-date information. Some of these, I like to just kind of collapse them so that I can see the charts for the most part. Coming down, a couple other ones that I want to share with you guys. Let me start here. This button in the bottom right, Ask Kate AI. What this will do as you're beginning to learn and kind of wonder about certain things is this is your kind of cheat code of, okay, what am I looking at? What should I trade? Maybe you have questions on the entry or the zone it's choosing, and you just type in your question here. So let's do this. What's a question that I might have? Let's see. So we just set up the Canadian dollar for a short in that zone. So I'll say, taking the Canadian dollar short, where should my target be? Right? Maybe a good question. Maybe I'm not sure of the target here. It's only 0.6 to 1. Send that out there, and it's going to analyze what's on your dashboard, and it should give you a customized response. So the response, good. Canadian dollar is active, and you're already inside the sweet spot. Currently, it knows current price, sweet spot, and it says leading time frame 30-minute, 42 score, align 2 time frames. Target plan, take an initial partial profit around 0.70545, then manage the rest off the 30-minute structure. Trail to break even on a clean 30-minute, confirming move lower. Risk note, this is an active short with moderate alignment. Keep size controlled and use your 30-minute plan for stops. If price closes convincingly above 0.70625, Your edge is broken. Well, that's interesting. So it's saying if we get a close above a certain number, this may not be as great of a setup. I can help you convert that into exact stop size risk to reward if you tell me your risks per trade. So this is also a great tool where anything you have questions on the dashboard, or if you even say, what's the highest probability setup, right? Even something like that, it's going to take what you've input into the system. It shows that it's Japanese yen, right? Long, the score, three time frames are aligned. You're in the sweet spot and gives you some good insight there. Ooh, another good question. Let me see. Can you restrict trades to minimum risk to reward ratio? Good question. Let me see. Find trades that have a minimum, and I can add this one, I think, Ken. Find trades at minimum risk to reward of, let me just see what it says for this. I can add that as a filter. Yeah, I don't think it's in here. Yeah, let me add this one here because that's a good one, right? Looking for the longer running trades. Typically, those are going to be the ones that have the highest scores. But I think that would be a great filter to add. So I'm going to make a note of that. Thanks, Ken. So yeah, any questions you have, you come here. You can use that Ask Kate AI button, and that'll give you a breakdown. It's also then going to give you some other hot trades. So these setups here at the top, the primary focus on these is that it's bringing in multi-time frame analysis, and it's showing the ones that are highest scored. As we come down, when we see where it says hot trades, this brings in a couple other things like is it how many time frames are aligned? We can see Japanese yen there, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, but it's going to bring in some other things like if the trade is ready now, meaning it's in a sweet spot, right? So here, ready now means that, hey, we're in the sweet spot. And that's going to give you that score and the percentage of being ready. So this one says 68% ready, 5 minute entry, 3 out of 5 time frames aligned. And then you can click this. Again, that's the chart that we've been looking at. So since this is kind of one of the top futures products for today, that's why it's bringing in all this info here. So that brings in a little bit more information in addition to time frames. It gives you an idea of what time frame your entry should be on, and it may also tell you if it's ready now. So 58, 59, this one's 68% ready. As far as the reason why I only say 68% ready, well, then you would come to your full trade plan, scroll down, and it's going to give you some things that are mismatched, which is it's saying that the trend is a little bit counter trend. I haven't necessarily taken out an opposing zone, so there's some factors in that are making it not like a 60 score, things like that. Coming down, more top opportunities, just additional ones. I would say these ones here, for example, like a 39, if it's in the 30s, I would probably pass on that. 42 has potential. I can see this one's the NASDAQ. The 1 hour and the 5 minute have sweet spots. So then this could be one that I would want to set up as well. So let's look at the NASDAQ. Here's the trade plan, targets, right? Target 1, target 2, risk to reward, view details. So I can see here's that pivot point. It's finding a 1 hour sweet spot. So I could come over to the NASDAQ and set this one up as we continue to move along. NQ, I'm going to do the micro contract. MNQ, and this is a 1 hour setup. So the sweet spot looks like that it's choosing is this pivot down here. That's on the 1 hour, just making sure I'm getting it right. All right, so we've already come back into it. What I'll do is I'll set up another trade for if we come deeper into that zone. But you can see if this one, we had done our analysis ahead of time, this would be a very strong setup for today. I'm going to set this one up, sell custom with stop. One micro contract, 30,002.5. Stop price, 3322.5. Send that out there. And again, the software is doing all the work for you, right? So why am I taking that zone in that trade? Well, it got a 42 score, a little lower, but I would say again, in the 40s is something that I would consider. It's aligned with trend. Um, Only two time frames aligned. Let's see, sweet spot is there. Control and breakout pivot, open details to load the full breakout. Let's see. So if I come down, why this ranked number 3, why it's getting the 42 score, and you can again kind of see everything there, what's working, what's not working, right? This one, I think what's dinging it is that there's only 2 time frames aligned as opposed to 3 or 4. But we've got that trade set up. We'll keep an eye on NASDAQ. And let's see what else. So that's more opportunities. A couple other cool ones here are if you're looking for trades that are close to triggering, that's going to be these two boxes here. We've got on deck, which shows charts that are strong setups approaching their entry. So what I would look for here is it's going to rank them from score. Here, the NASDAQ, looking for a short trade. This one is 0.8% away from being in that sweet spot. So this would be one to say, hey, keep an eye on this one. That makes sense. That's the one that we just set up. So it's saying, hey, we're not in the sweet spot, but it is on deck. Or if you see that it's ready, then that would mean that it's in the sweet spot and you can look to set up that trade, or maybe it's already triggering your order. Approaching sweet spots, these are pretty similar. This one ranks them from the highest score to the lowest. Sometimes this one doesn't, but this one will also bring in, if it's ready now, and we'll give you a lot more opportunities for setups that are ready at this moment. So for example, Japanese yen, that one's ready now. Long trade, and we can see why it's pulling that one up is because it's inside that zone. We've got that one good to go. And then this one over here on the right, also going to show you confidence by time frame. So this is your multi-time frame analysis based upon the time frames that you input at the top. And it's going to tell you, is the trade aligned with multiple time frames? So on this one, I'm looking to go short on the NASDAQ. So let me click the NASDAQ, and we can see that the trend is aligned on the 1 hour, 30-minute, 10-minute, and 5-minute. The 4-hour is still a bullish trend. So how do we proceed? Trend backing is mixed. This is a partially aligned trade. Look for more confirmation before sizing up. So low time frames, more downtrend, high time frame, more uptrend. Therefore, just keep that in mind moving forward. Any questions so far on the platform? Questions, comments? Let me just take a minute to stop right here. Hey, Callie, on the chart, does it show the full MNQU26 anywhere so that we don't forget not to use expired contract? Let me see. MNQ. I do need to add that, I think, as far as just having the contract month here. Let me see. NQ. I'm going to get that one added. That one it was on a different platform. But what I'll do is I'll add the full contract month to each of these. That should be an easy fix. That way we can see what contract it's pulling. And then it should automatically roll to the highest volume contract month. Yeah, that's a great point. So let me add that on here. Let me see if it does put it anywhere. I don't think so, but I can definitely get that added. Thanks for that, Callie. Any other questions? Yep. Yeah. So I'll add the contract months here. I don't think it is anywhere on these. So I will make sure to specify that. That's some good feedback right there. Let me see. Yeah, it just says like 6J, 6C. Um, so I'll have those contract months added in there. This does a pretty good job of giving you the front month contract, but I'll add that in here so you can see exactly what contract it is, especially during contract rollover. Let's see, Japanese yen says 5 minute. Let me see. Hmm. Oh, this one over here. Yeah, so that one says it's ready now on the 5 minutes. So it's choosing the time frame that meets most of the criteria. So on this one, it's showing ready now because it's the sweet spot was formed when we broke that high. And now it's showing that we've come back to a zone on a 5 minute time frame and we're leaving. So then that would be a ready now setup. It could do it on a 4 hour. I think just why it's not pulling it on like a 4 hour or a 1 hour is because it's in the sweet spot, but the zone it's identifying is this doji, and it's not inside that 4 hour doji compared to on the 5 minute, it's inside a 5 minute zone. So that's why I would be saying it's ready now. Um, Approaching sweet spot likely is because it's inside that zone within the sweet spot. And yeah, you might see some confluence across time frames. It's just going to choose the top setup for you, one that's in the zone. And usually it does bring in the lower time frames for your entry. Yeah, great question there. Let's see. Once we build confidence in the process, is there a summary list detailing trade setups instead of walking through charts? Let's see. Detailing trade setups, that would be, let me keep going. There's going to be a couple more, and then I can kind of add that in here because that's a good point as well. Let me see. As I come down, I just want to show you scanner highlights. So what this does is kind of give you that big picture overview of the largest move for the day. So New Zealand, Swiss franc, kind of seeing that one as one of the largest movers. The trade of the day, Japanese yen has the highest score, the most active market, most common setup. And then here it gives you which ones are ready right now. Where if you click that, then you can start to scan and see which ones are actively ready and in those sweet spots and zones, prime setups, and then kind of your breakdown of the scanner in action today, how many charts have been scanned, sweet spots, entries, opportunities identified, approaching entry, and then the best opportunity right now. So let's see, is there a summary list detailing trade setups instead of walking through your charts? That is also something that can be added. When you say a summary list detailing trade setups, because right, there's different factors here. Maybe as far as trade setups, like a list of the highest scoring ones. So maybe your watch list is over here and it shows kind of the top items of, let's see, which ones have the highest scores, which ones match with trend the most. I'm just thinking. Yes, so let me think on that, Ken. Summary list detailing trade setups. Yes, I think more of a list, right? Of here's all the products, here's where their scoring is, here's which ones are setups that you'd want to take, and then you can click those from there. Yes, because right now it is very chart focused, just to help you kind of see the picture, what we're looking at. Yep, absolutely. Great feedback. Let me get on that. And what I'll do, because everyone here will get a follow-up email, what I'll do is I'll implement the changes that we're all mentioning in the chat. I'll implement some of this and I'll put that in kind of an update page so that you guys can see the changes that have been made and some things like that. Like adding the contract month, the key details in a separate panel. That's absolutely doable. Perfect. So let's see, scanner highlights. You also have an economic calendar to see some of the top reports that are coming out for the day and into the following day. You can click view full calendar just to see what's coming out. So we can see this week we've got FOMC, unemployment claims, things like that. Let's see, coming back. What else? Your full watch list is here. What I like as you start to, what Ken mentioned is, building confidence with the process. So, what's a great tool is that this software is going to start showing you the trades that it's pulling. And it's going to show you how they worked out so that you begin to trust the process, right? You're not just guessing that these setups are going to be working, you're actually seeing it implemented in real time. So, what this does is it's going to pull just to some of the trades that end up working out so you can see what happens. So here's a setup from, let's see, once this looks like this zone might have been set up on July 2nd. This was a gold 15-minute chart. It shows you the sweet spot. And if you click next, it's going to show you kind of the process of how it's identifying the sweet spot, the zone. So step one, there's a strong control and breakout pivot break. The sweet spot is identified. We're pulling back to that sweet spot and we have a zone that it isolates within that area. And here's the result. So this trade triggered yesterday, July 6th at 10:45 a.m. Eastern, and we can see that was the result. So as you start to build your confidence in these trades, come over to the trade of the day. This is going to be updated each day so that you can see, okay, here was a trade that maybe I missed, or here was a trade that I was looking at. I wasn't sure whether to take it. And it's going to give you several setups to show you here's why it's working. It also shows you the score it got. So let's see, that gold was a 67. Right, that's a pretty high score. Here was one on Aussie CAD. Sweet spot had a 72. And you can again see the process of here's the sweet spot. Here it's pulling back to that sweet spot area. Notice this one, there was a zone it identified, but it came a little bit lower. To understand that aspect is really the sweet spot is the full area of where you want to take a trade. It's going to pinpoint certain zones, but I would say use your own analysis too to find the zones that are the strongest. Ultimately, why it's saying that this was a winner is because it's finding on a 15-minute a sweet spot, activated, price pulls back into that sweet spot, and there's our entry from there. So sometimes the zones, just I wanted to leave this one on here to show you that the zones it chooses may not always be 100%, but the sweet spot is really the area you want to look for a trade. And on this one, we can see where it came back to was actually that two candle flip down here. Price came back down into it, and there was the trade to the upside. So you can go through these, right? See what happened. Let's see. Here's another one, Aussie Swiss franc. Here's a short setup, Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Scroll through it. Here's the result. It came back to a two candle flip. This one was from yesterday as well. So all of these are trades that it's pulling. This was one July 6th as well, right? Came back down. Here was the result from that zone. Quickly came back there, but trade opportunity, nice move there. And again, you can just kind of skim through these. Here's, let's see, RB. Came back into the zone, move up from there. So if you're new to the software, to trading, and you're just getting used to it, go to the trade of the day, see what areas that it's identifying, look at the zones. Again, all of these are going to be trades that it's implementing each day to help you understand what it's looking for, seeing them work. There's a trade there. Here's a zone it picked out, move to the upside. What score was this one? This was a 69. So that's another thing too, is all the futures that we're looking at, the top score is a 51. I would say, let me see what this says. It's pretty good if you can find charts that are getting in the 60s. As you can see from some of these winners over the past couple days, those are going to be a lot stronger trade setups. The higher the score, the better it is. And you can then, again, go back to all of these setups here. Manage your watch list. Let me see, you've got some other kind of tools on the left-hand side. You've got there's a live heat map. For those of you who like looking at this, you can see what's moving for the day from stocks, ETFs, crypto, and Forex, different trading universes over here that you can click on. For me, I like to do futures, so I like to click on that. And then again, as you want to kind of update this, you can always change your time frames you're looking at, your products. And maybe you've only got a 51 score based upon these time frames. Well, would it change if I maybe took off some of the lower time frames and brought in some higher ones? Does that strengthen the scores? Yes, now it's bringing in British pound. Maybe this is a longer running trade because see how this one is correlated with the 8 hour and the 6 hour. And then I could find a 30-minute entry to go long. Looks like that was just activated. So then this would be one I would want to stay in longer term, right? So British pound on this one, I've got these touches here in this zone. What I would do for this one is come over to 6B. I know I'm looking to go long. Let's see. That's a 30-minute. That pivot's really the strong. There's our sweet spot. So I'd like to get my zone down in there. This zone looks pretty good right at the breakout. So I would come over to the 6 hour. And the sweet spot that it is choosing is from that pivot to the low on the 6 hour, which would be down here. And I think the zone that it's choosing is this basing before the break of that pivot, which would be this area here. I would use that double-sided breakout, strong breakout to the upside, and that would be my zone. Let's see, is there multi-time frame alignment? Yes, there's 3 there. If I want kind of a quick and easy way, I could say I'm taking 6B, British pound. Is this a long running trade? What should I expect, right? And you can use this if you want. You can just go over all the details here. There's tons of information, right? Hovering over the score will give you that breakdown too of everything. Or you can use this if you just want kind of that automatic response. So pick the highest ranking idea on the board, quick practical plan, 8 hour lead time, score 58, align 3 time frames with trend. It says you're behind the move right now. Be careful of the fake out breakout jumping in late. So that's helpful, right? What to do right now. Prefer to wait for a pullback into the sweet spot. Perfect. That's what we're doing. That's your odds enhancer. Or clear a strong control and breakout pivot. If you enter the sweet spot, take a smaller size and use tight plan risk. Treat this as a running trade if you get in on the sweet spot or after a validated control and breakout pivot, scale into strength. So again, this is probably one that it's going to track, and it may end up being one that comes later on where if you look at the dashboard at the end of the day, it'll give you the snapshots of trades that have also worked out. So these are the ones again that are showing from yesterday, right? The result, this was a trade that triggered yesterday morning. So this will continuously be updated. I know the light theme isn't for everyone. There's premium. Bright just makes it all white. And then if you do like kind of a darker themed, I know a lot of us prefer that darker look. You can click on terminal and it will give you more of a darker layout depending on what you're looking for. So different themes here, premium, bright, or terminal. For me, I like the white background brightness. If you want terminal, you can do that as well. And then everything else is the same. You can update all your products here. Again, create your watch list, tools over there. Any questions on what we've discussed today? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed. Questions, comments? So again, the purpose of this dashboard is to be your one-stop shop. There are other products on the website like the trade scanners and trade alerts. Those are all separate products and they do what they're supposed to do. This isn't one that say gets rid of the trade scanner or it doesn't get rid of the trade alerts. It's more of a software. Again, I've done a lot of research online at other softwares that are pretty expensive that do all of this for you and kind of pull top trades. And what I've done is I've tried to do this for specifically our group here based upon the strategies that we look at day in and day out with pivot points, control and breakout pivots, and making it as simple as possible. Keep in mind what this is going to be is it's going to evolve over time. So as I start to roll this out, you guys are going to get kind of the first pass of access to this at the lower rates compared to what it's ultimately going to be, just so I can get your feedback and you can test it, and I can start implementing some of these changes and enhancements over time, just like adding having a list of products. I think that's a great one. Um, Seeing which ones are ready now, things like that, and continuing to make this your one-stop shop. Thank you, Deb. Let me see. So, yes, let me touch on that. I'm just seeing if there's anything else, and then I'll go into how to access it. Um, Let me see if there's anything else. That's the gist. If there's anything else. Yeah, that's going to be it. Okay, so you've seen the dashboard. Everything is here. I'll be implementing those updates that you guys mentioned, a couple tweaks here to show kind of a list of products that are available. If there's anything else that you think that you want to see, you can always reach out and let me know. Or if you have questions on how to use the platform, I'm more than happy to help. So how to access the platform and when does it become available? This will become available next week. So today is Tuesday. I'm going to be doing a launch of this on Monday, and I'm going to be sending out an email with information on how to get registered for this. What I want to do for this group specifically is just give you guys kind of an inside look at pricing, of course, and a lot has gone into this. I just want you guys to know on the back end of building this and putting all these pieces together, but I do want to make this for you guys where you're getting the best experience possible. I'm going to be sending out a follow-up email here shortly with all that insight, but I would say this is going to be rolled out by Monday. If you are interested, send me an email and respond to that, and let me know what your thoughts are if you want to get signed up for this. I'm going to be doing a couple different like packages and different options of monthly subscriptions versus long-term. So all of that will be in the follow-up email. But very excited for you guys to see this. Again, it has been many, many months of building and putting all this together and getting things like trend alignment in place and having the top picks be automatically shown for you. And what I want to do as we continue to move forward is really enhance, right, the top trades. I want you guys seeing how these trades work out because many of you have been using the tools like the scanners and the daily picks and seeing them work time and time again. So the more you see it and the more we start to build upon these stats, the more you're going to trust it and start to use it each and every day. And this becomes your one-stop shop for trading, knowing what to trade, what the highest probability setups are, and really customizing this to make it your own, right? If you're seeing charts in their 30s, ratings of 30s, probably not a good one. But if you start seeing high 50s, 60s, that's a setup that we're going to be looking at, right? And what I would want to do moving forward is for once you register for this, I want to have meetings twice a month, every other week, where we can go over this and analyze what setups are happening, what trades you're taking, kind of see your trade plans in a group environment, and see your takeaways from the software and kind of what trades you've been doing, how we can enhance this, and ultimately use your trading results to make this much better. So let me see. That is it. Stay on the lookout for an email from me. I will give you all of the details shortly on all of this. You will get the recording from today's session as well, so you can look back at everything that's here. But so excited to have you guys take a look at this. Again, a lot has been put into it, as I mentioned, based upon your feedback and really just how can we choose the top trade setups each day. And there's not many platforms out there that does this from what I've looked into over the past couple months. A lot of softwares and platforms choose trades based on maybe one indicator or two indicators, or it allows you to do kind of a broad scan. But this one is bringing in multi factor, odds enhancers, trend, strength, all in the background to help you choose the best trades. So looking forward to having you guys try it out. I will follow up with you guys here in a little bit. If you have any questions on the software or feedback, let me know. I know I'm not giving much info right now, but just stay on the lookout today. And we'll touch base at the end of the day. I'll send you guys an email. If you have any questions or have interest in this, let me know. I'm happy to answer those questions for you guys. Thanks, Shelly Ann. Thank you, Deb. Absolutely. Thank you, Ken. Absolutely. Chuck, thanks for being here. Have a great day, everyone. We'll stay in touch. Happy trading. Bye-bye. Thanks, Aden. Bye, guys.